Hello again, YouTubers and subscribers. How are you doing today, or this evening, or whatever time of day it is for you now? I just want to speak um about life, you know what I mean? Just speak from my heart. So I'll be using both my native language and English for those that are not so acquainted with patois. Just to keep it real, just to explain, just to express myself in these trying times, and just to be real, because you don't know, a lot is happening, and we want to have something to look forward to. True. So I'll be speaking, just the broad topic is life. I'm just gonna share some of my personal experiences and what I've learned and what I've observed, and how I think we should approach certain things. But before I go any further, if you're new to the channel, I'm just gonna ask you to please like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you found the video interesting. That's all I'm asking. So where do I start? Let me start off with a question. What do you call a person who has more than he needs and refuses to share? Right. Selfish, correct? Alright, fine. Now, what do you call a person who knows something, has a certain amount of information or knowledge about a particular subject area or topic, and it can be in math, English, sciences, whichever subject area, and that person, he or she, refuses to break down some of the information to you, that you who are struggling can better understand it. Correct, you're right again. Selfish. I remember back in 6th grade primary school, when we were in class, and there was a particular student that was considered to be among the A students in math. So when it was math time, and when there were math problems, that student would be the key student that everybody would surround. In a Jamaican term, everybody bungle up around him, you understand? Because him know him thing. There were also a set of students that were good in English, and I was privileged to be among those students back in 6th grade. So likewise, when it is English time, a group of students would surround myself and others who were more versed in English, and we would share what we understand and learn. Why did I ask these questions? Well, one of the main reasons is the reality of my personal life right now. So as many of you might know who are already subscribed to the channel and follow the videos and the content that I put out, you know that I went through what I call a paradigm shift, and ever since that day until now, COVID or no COVID, pandemic or no pandemic, there's a lot still left to unravel. There's a lot still left to explain. I was thinking that if I came across something that is a little bit contradicting to what I was taught or believed, and I came to a better understanding, I was thinking that it would be the right thing to share it with my loved ones, with my family, with friends. Mind you, I don't have a lot of friends. I think I've said that before, but that aside, what I'm trying to say is this. You see, leaving the church can be a lonely journey. So if you are not prepared mentally for that type of experience, if you are afraid to be alone, if you're having trouble finding out things on your own. I don't recommend, if you have questions, just either just bury them or pretend they don't exist or something, because once you start asking certain questions and once you start doing certain investigations, it's going to lead you down a particular path, if it is that you're really seeking truth. Because sometimes we get the truth and we don't like it and all of that. Sometimes you don't know, sometimes we hear things and it, you know, in a jail with the spirit, you understand, for all the Jamaicans out there, in a jail with what you're currently experiencing at the moment. So yeah, sometimes you just feel perplexed by why you're here, but it's still the truth, you know what I mean? I have heard things about myself that me don't want to hear it, but it is true, you understand, and them type of thing that me I talk about. So me I say I have had experience now where whenever I try to share my knowledge and my experience based on what I have learned about religion and the Bible and the concepts that we create and belief and all of that thing, there's always a wall of defense, you know what I mean? There's always a pushback, and to be fair, it is kind of expected, because I don't know, say people, we it is easier to continue on a certain path, and I've touched on some of these areas and topics in videos before, but to reiterate a little bit more, it is easier to hold on to what you currently believe than to go and try to contradict it, because it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of unlearning, you understand me? I say, so you go find, say, sometimes when you come across friends or family or whoever it is that, well, may have this new idea and me want to share it, them not quick for listen. But remember the question I asked before, if you have somebody in the class and him know something more than you and him not share to you say him selfish though. If him have $5 and you have $2 and you want to make up, and him say him tell you say him have $5 that him not give, him can't give for whatever reason, and you know you're him a friend and you're not a friend, whatever the case might be, you go and look on the person say him selfish or she's selfish. Not in all cases that is so, you know, but it depends. What I'm saying is that generally speaking, those who have more should be quick to give back, right? Those who have just a little bit more than another person, whatever it being monetary or whatever thing that you have a little bit more of. But we recognize that even in our today's society, we don't see that being practiced on a wide scale. Anyway, back to the ear of this discussion, because I kind of have a lot to discuss, and I don't want time to pass and I don't get to say certain things, and I don't want the video to be too long, but again, I'm just speaking from the heart. So basically what I'm saying is that whenever the issue of God and the Bible come up, I see the creator, the different views I have, whether it be my family, my wife, whoever it is that still hold on to the religious viewpoint, there's always a conflict of interest, there's always a shying away and a barrier there. The communication barrier now is disrupted, because I'm now entering into a space, or I'm now projecting something new to the person, and they don't necessarily, they're either not ready to receive it or don't want to receive it, and that is okay. But what I have an issue with, and I've said this before, I just want to say it again, I have an issue with persons who believe that their systems of beliefs is better than yours, and they don't have any proof that this is so, right? They have not yet gone and done certain things, investigation and research to say, well, this is why I believe, as opposed to just, well, my parents believe this, or I grew up seeing this and this is what I know, I don't know nothing else, so I don't want nobody to come tell me nothing. Right? It is fine to have a certain amount of skepticism. Healthy skepticism is good. But you see, when you find yourself just throw things without even giving it a thought, then I think you're doing yourself an injustice. You know them way there? Yeah, that's what I believe still. That's kind of what I want to say regarding that. So that's one thing I just wanted to get off my chest. The whole aspect of the paradigm shift and how it is affecting me and my relationships, and the perspectives that people might hold of me since that transition. Another thing I want to talk about is this whole pandemic, the so-called pandemic. You know, a lot of persons are hurting right now. Just recently we saw the situation with Kaylan and countless others that are constantly being inflicted with harm by some men on this earth that I have little to no regard for, because they don't have regard for life. And I'm not saying that with any apology. Do I love them as a human being? Sure, I love human beings, but do I like their lifestyle and what they're doing to my fellow brothers and sisters? No. And one of the issues I'm having is that I'm going to tie this back now to religion. It is sad for me, for some of you who might be listening might be Christians, and I don't want to offend you. So if you are not prepared, and if you don't want to hear this wouldn't be the right time to, to stop watching. But it is very interesting how one's mind can be so programmed to accept a certain idea that doesn't matter what it is, that idea is still held as the absolute truth. Case in point, yes, I believe that when we believe in something, it is power in itself, and prayer has some power. But today I was thinking about the whole situation again, and I said, why is it that we always have to pray after the fact? Why is it that we are taught to pray to get things done that is supposed to be in that basically the God that people generally believe in, the God of the Bible and all of that, he is supposed to have total control, and he's supposed to know everything. Why is it it's after the fact, it's after a situation like Kaylan? Now, again, if you don't want to hear this and not full, please you know what to do. Why is it when time bad things happen, people that pray to God? In other words, why God wait until people suffer, or people in a them type of situation there if you call upon him? I just find that very ridiculous. That me know, so my son, I go put him under the fire, I watch him put him under the fire, and then me give him a band-aid. The religious views that we have, this is the hope for some people, and that is why I have to try to be it's a sensitive topic. But I never used to think like this until I started just thinking more widely about a lot of things. If I know that something's going to happen to you before you know it, why I don't prevent it from happening to you? Why I wait until you inflict pain, you experience pain? What am I hoping to prove by this? These are some of the questions I don't see people asking. Why you have to pray and beg God for things you know you already need? Right now people are suffering on COVID, people are losing their job. I see more mad people on the streets since this COVID. People are suffering, and personally I don't think this so-called pandemic is even something that should have caused the world for lockdown. That is my personal opinion. Still, you don't have to agree, understand, but me see a lot of things. I pay attention to a lot of subject matters these days, and what I'm learning is that see, the same way you can hungry for food, you have some people hungry for power. Me hungry for knowledge right now, you get me? I say, but some people hungry for power and deception and deceitfulness and all them things, and trickery and control. Some people also want to control other people. I think this COVID, this pandemic situation is like a platform for people to flex their muscles, for get total control of the population in a certain way. That's what you call conspiracy theory. But I listened to Bounty Killer, Sasko and Sirani version of conspiracy theory the other day. I like it, you understand, because them type of thing that I pray, you understand. But what I'm saying is that people are suffering now, and you would think that a benevolent God would, you know, intervene in a real way, because more people are suffering than those that are basically alright now. From the beginning of time, you have the rich is always here and the poor is always here. You understand? The gap between the rich and the poor is always a wide one. You understand? And those that are wealthy and don't lack any material things, even in this time, they are least affected. We'll see what is happening in Jamaica with the natural disaster and all of that, and yet still people are praying say God will fix things when him they don't know say it go happen already. But I just kind of find that very interesting, and I know Christians now gonna hear me and say, but if you are a free thinker, you will understand what I'm saying. If you are somebody who question your reality and question your beliefs, then you should have no problem digesting or understanding what I'm trying to say here. There's so much happening right now that you wonder, can there really be a God? You understand? Can there really be a benevolent God? Because I do believe that there is a creator. I don't know why I let me put it this way. I don't know why I keep on saying I do believe there's a creator, because persons like me who I've come across, and again, I'm repeating myself, I've said this already in other videos, persons like me who I come across, most of them, well, no, let me not say most, some of them come out of the church and gone to atheism. That was at the point, that was on the brink of switching over to atheism, but I still believe that there's a creator for the mere fact that me didn't in the church, and I don't believe somebody met myself, and this vast universe is still marvelous to me in spite of everything. So I just say, yo, I just think that it's the misconceptions of the creator me I wrestle with. That is what me really I wrestle with, the concepts that then give us of the creator, and I say that are the truth and that there's no question. Them thing that me I wrestle with, you understand? And I don't want nobody tie them religious belief to me. Them can keep it to themselves, you understand? I don't want to have nothing for the latter part for doing that. But yeah, the pandemic can mash up people's life, you understand? There's a lot going on, people. You don't know who to trust. You don't know if you trust the WHO, the CDC, Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates, and the whole lot of them. You don't know who to trust. And once you start to talk and you question the authorities, you're labeled as conspiracy theorists. And it is sad, So that is one aspect. The pandemic is causing a lot of frustration in the people's life. People are holding on to them belief because them beliefs that this is it. And look at it, the church don't have any power right now. The church don't have any power to heal those COVID-19 patients. They don't have any power. The so-called deaths that is going around across the earth, we don't know if the figures are being inflated or whatever. We don't know if the figures just, we don't know. We don't know who to trust. Well, I don't know who to trust. Let me put it that way. Maybe you trust the government 100% everything with them say, but I don't trust anybody 100% like that anymore, especially since my transition, right? But what I say is this, you see, people suffer, crisis is on the land, and people believe that there's gonna be a savior coming down off to deliver them from this, when in fact what is being played out here, especially for the church community, and I'm going to come out for the church community soon. The church community keep on hold on to them belief for their life, because that is what all they know, you understand, and you really can't do wrong them. But what me keep on say is that, are they not thinking or asking themselves certain questions? Questions like what I asked earlier. If the God of creation knows you need certain things, why you have to pray before him give it to you? God knows people are going to suffer in this before it happens. God knows that people are going to need help. The church doesn't have no power right now. The church depends on lockdown just like the rest of the world. The church are wear them face masks, just like I said earlier. Instead of groan and a pray and a ask God for doing miracles, did that not happen? So what I'm saying is this: a lot of confusion is going on, and a lot of things have been put before us from the day we were born until the day we die. A lot of things were given to us, handed down to us, and it is only when we become of age and we start to recognize the falsehood in a lot of things that we were told, that then we will be able and equipped, or enable ourselves and equip ourselves to start to take a chart a different course, because we recognize that is not everything that our mother tell me and our father tell me are true. It's not everything that society puts before us is true. It's not everything that the government and the governing authorities and those in higher places of authority, it's not everything that they put out and they say is for our best interest. We have to take that initiative to question our reality, and that is what my life is now about. And I am in the process of, I'm not really advertising it, but just saying it as it came to me. I'm in the process of publishing one of 3 books. So I've written 3 books so far, but I don't know finances to get them published. But I have one in the process of publishing, which is the 3rd one that I wrote. So it is in the process of publishing now. It's still, some fine work. So in that book, it basically gonna explain changes, and things like that, how we deal with it and all of them good things there. But I'm not get into that now, because that's not what this is about. But just bear that in mind. So if you want a free copy of that, because I give out some free copies, if you want a free copy of that book, just let me know in the comments below. Alright, so when it releases, we can send it to your email. Just hit me up in the comments, send me information and thing, and we talk. Anyhow, from the cradle to the grave, we have been given a system, and the system that we have been given is good enough just to take us to a certain part in life. We grow up, we go to school, we go to primary school, basic school, primary school, go straight up the ladder, college and whatever. We get a job, we get some children, retire, and then we die. Really, that's it. We just go through life like that. We don't. And then on top of all of that, we get to set a beliefs that some believe in a Rastafarianism, some believe in a Buddha, some believe in a Jesus Christ, some believe in a Krishna, some believe in all type of different things. But what do we do for ourselves? How do we go about surviving these times when we recognize that the things them that we are seeing and the things them that we are experiencing is contradicting what we believe? You understand? Why do we constantly put ourselves in a situation where even when time we see the blatant truth before us, we deny it's fact? We deny the fact. Why? I think one of the reasons, the fundamental reason I've come to understand is fear. It's fear of the unknown, fear of what is imposed on us through literature, fear of what is promised if you don't obey. So we have the slaves and we have the slave master, and if a slave out to under slave master, put him back in line. We have those who have gone at length to enslave our minds and our consciousness, and if we are easily led and don't question our reality, then we are subject to their devices, so to speak. And then we find that even in a pandemic, everything that the authorities say we believe, we find that even in our crisis, even when we see the church have they not have no power and no authority right now. The government can tell the church for doing a time like this when the church will be the most active element on earth right now. wrong or right, true or false, right? The government dictate how much people can do whatever, because at the end of the day, if the church fall out of line, them all get what? Them all get themselves in a trouble too. So what may I say is that, how are we not questioning these things? Why are some of us so hard bent on thinking that everything that is set out for us is for our best interest? Why is it that some of us believe that people who's above us, they always have the best interest at heart? Why some of us think that way? And why is it that when somebody like persons like me come out and question the narrative, we are ostracized and we are treated like we are some devils, and we are treated like we are some evil people? Why is it? Why when we question the narrative and question the status quo, we challenge the status quo, we are looked down on with scorn and disregard and disdain and bitterness? A lot of persons, one of the reasons I think this happens is that a lot of persons just want to fit in. They want to fit in the norms of society. But I'm here to tell you, if you are a free thinker, that it is okay not to want to fit into the norms of society. I have been called weird throughout my life. Growing up, going to school, I've been labeled as weird, and it has grown on me. So if people say me weird now, it don't really trouble me. You understand? It is okay to be the odd one out, right? There are a lot of things that I don't agree with. There are a lot of things that I don't want in my space. But I'm not going to tell you that you can't keep doing what you're doing in your space. I'm not going to try to condemn you. So long as you keep what you're doing in your space and you don't try to tell me, say me must come in your space. What I have an issue with is that people won't listen to what people like myself say, but they want to tell you to come back to what they want you to come back to. I don't want to come back to a system where it cannot be challenged. I don't want to go back to a system where everybody just sit down and listen to one person talk and nobody not really interact for ask or really what is happening. I am at the point now where a lot is happening in my personal life and financially, otherwise, a lot is happening, and what I want to do is encourage still that doesn't matter, just keep on pressing, because I believe I have a purpose, and my purpose is not defined by an individual. It is defined by the higher source that is above me and the higher source that is within me, that guides all of us, you know what I mean? And until I fully actualize that purpose, I will just still be sharing my thoughts and ideas about certain subject matters like this, because as I said in the last video with Kayla, I'm frustrated with the whole things that me say happen in Jamaica and in the earth. Sometimes I wish we could have just take my plane ticket and come off of earth. You know what I mean? It does reach up to the level for me. But if I should speak to you on a spiritual manner now, on a topic where me kind of like talking about at length, we wouldn't leave here this evening, because it's a topic that I'm passionate about and thing, you understand? But what I would say is that if I have the opportunity not to come back to earth, maybe I choose it. If I have that opportunity not to come back to this plane, I'd rather stay in the higher dimensions, because there's too much suffering here, and half of us won't make it, if not more. Only those that will make it are those that have stretched themselves mentally, spiritually, not so much physically, because your body is just something that will deteriorate after that time. It's just a shell. But I'm talking mentally and spiritually. Stretch yourself to the point where you become liquid. You're not tied to anything. right? So what I'm saying is that life is difficult in these times, but for some of us, the hope in Jesus Christ is our only hope. Unfortunately for me, I should even say unfortunate, but for me, I no longer subscribe to that, and it's not because I just want to be rebellious. It's because I've recognized that, and I've said this already, but please, maybe you're new to the channel. It's for I recognize that this is just a mind game that is being played, and those that are more acquainted with the mind game and know how this whole matrix operates, they are the manipulators behind it, and they are using every device possible to keep you trapped in a certain way of thinking until the day you die. Because as Dr. Ray Higgins said in an interview I watched a couple of years ago with Mota Baruka, he said those who control the printed page controls the thinking of the age, and that is pretty much what is happening now. The media, the articles that come out, the narratives that are pushed, those who control that control what we believe and control what we think. And unless we are able to question our reality, even in these times, because again we are talking about life, even in these trying times, even after COVID passed, some of us are going to still trapped. If COVID never wake up, if COVID didn't wake us up to the point where we recognize, no man, something rigged, something go on, this is not normal. If COVID never push that in your mind, and you just go along with the narrative because you believe that those above you always have the best interest at heart, well, I don't know what to say to you, and I am not going to tell you that you're wrong to think that way. What I would say is that you might be doing yourself an injustice by not querying or questioning. That's all I'll say, right? But on a real level still, my viewers, on a real level, it's really tough, time's tough, and I want the best for you and I want the best for myself. I wish I could say that everybody who's above me want the best for you and me, but unfortunately that is not the case. People just want to do them evil deeds and they want control. A lot of people in high places that do some things with me. Should I sit down and know and watch what them do, would have sick to stomach, would have vomit. You understand? So I guess the takeaway from this little discussion is, and this little presentation is that we have to find creative ways to survive in these times, and that is what I'm trying to do. And that is why I don't do much uploading. I'm trying to find creative ways to survive in these times, and while I keep watch and keep alert as to certain things that are happening around me, I will not fall prey to the hands of evil men, because I know that I am a sovereign being and you are a sovereign being, and if you and I recognize that we are sovereign being and that these powers and authorities don't truly have any hold on us, it doesn't matter which systems them set up, whether it be religious or social or whatever constructs they make, once it is trying to enslave us, once it is depriving us of our freedom to express ourselves. Because as some of you may know, I listen to David Icke, and David Icke has been censored and his platforms has been taken down, has been labeled as a conspiracy theorist, and that's the taboo word now these days if you didn't know, and you're being censored. I've seen some of my fellow YouTubers telling us that they have to go over to other platforms, and not all of the YouTubers I listen to are only spiritual. I listen to a lot of persons who don't have no to do with spirituality, from different subject matters, Bitcoin, all type of different areas. People talking about money, people talking about all type of different things. I can't list them all now, and they are telling they're telling their viewers that, listen, come over to this channel because YouTube is censoring my content for whatever reason. And one of the first books I wrote back in, I think, 2017, I spoke about that very thing. I saw down the line that this would eventually started happening. I wrote about it. I'm not going to take it to that book when I get a chance to publish that book. I'll publish it, but not going to let this video be drawn out too much longer. I hope I have said something that resonated with you. I hope that you get the whole picture that life is really a journey, and people will always come into your life to either build you or put you down, to empower you or to discourage you. I want to have an experience where there's a symbiotic relationship between those above us and those below us, you know, because there's always somebody above and below you, and that doesn't mean that you're better than them and they're worse than you, or whatever the situation it might be. It just simply mean that based on the things that they have on their plate or on their seat, based on the responsibilities that they have, we each share a part in this whole grand scheme of things as human beings on the face of the earth, created in the divine life-giving source, its image. And I would want for all of us to harmonize. That is my ideal desire, but I'm not having that. We are not seeing that. We are seeing war, we are seeing division, we are seeing crime and violence, we are seeing deception, and we are seeing falsehood. We are seeing all type of crazy things to keep us in fear, to keep us hating each other, to keep us fighting against each other, because they know, they know certain things. Right? They destroyed the Library of Alexandria many years ago. They have books hidden in the Vatican, under the Vatican City, that you and I, it is prohibited for me and you to go and read these books, because they have knowledge that is not found in the Bible, in the holy books, the so-called holy books. They have knowledge about how the human mind works, and about how we create things, and about how they can manipulate. If you do not know what they know, then they have power, and that is a sad thing. Those that have the power to share, they're not sharing it, so they are cunning and they're deceptive. But the gist of this whole discussion is I guess it is just to stay alive, you know, in these trying times. Be creative, try new things, question your reality again. Be optimistic, even though yes, the things that discouraging. If I can avoid watching the news, because I did watch the news this evening, I purposely didn't watch it. If I can avoid watching the news sometimes, just avoid it and keep your space, you know, focus on what you want to do. But yeah, that is pretty much what I had to say for this session, for this video. There is a lot more I could say, but I don't want to make it too stretched out and things. So thank you again for watching, and I just want to encourage you to just press on still, you know, whatever it is you believe in, whatever it is you call your God, just keep on hold strong. If you want to believe in the biblical God, same way as if you're listening as a Christian up to now, your choice. But just my encouragement is just to be strong, because we need the strength, you know. We need the strength, you know. Sometimes I feel like singing, I don't know, but maybe it's not the right time, so maybe another time that come out. Until next time, peace. Talk again.